one.
Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Today we've got Brinkley here. Today we're going to go over how to greet people properly. Last week, to kind of brief everything we went over last week in case you missed anything last Monday, we went over proper loose leash walking, how to get control of your dog walking properly next to you. We also went over a trick called spin, so definitely go back. I know we're getting a lot of feedback. Dogs are loving it. I know it's being hard, stuck at home, during this time, but this is a great time to really bond and work with your dog on some things that normally you don't get the extra time to work on. Also, last Wednesday, we went over wait, which wait is one of my favorites. Teaches your dog to be super patient, helps get out the door before your dog tries to bolt out or takes you out underneath your legs. Also makes them wait in the car, in their crate, instead of just bolting out every time you open the door. And then last Friday, we went over just a couple of easy basics. We went over Watch Me, which is a focus cue, and then we went over Sit. So if you guys didn't have the chance to look at those, definitely go back, watch those. Some of that is also going to with future exercises that we go over. So definitely go back from the beginning and get those knocked out, and then catch up with us. And so today we're going to go over, like I said, how to greet people properly. So greeting people and jumping up on people is probably one of the biggest behaviors that dogs deal with, one of the most common behaviors that dogs struggle with. And the reason for that is, we feed a lot of behaviors that we don't realize. So positive reinforcement to dogs is eyes, hands, and mouth. So one of the main reasons why dogs jump on people a lot is because we give them that feedback when they do it when we don't realize it. So we're actually reinforcing it a lot of times that we don't realize. So that's one of the main reasons why dogs keep doing it. Because in their mind, like, oh, well, I get attention when I do this, so I'm just going to keep doing it because every time I jump up on them, even though they're yelling at me, they're talking to me, they touch me, trying to push me off, they're looking at me, giving the feedback I want. For some dogs, it's just if they can lock down on simple eye contact, for some dogs, that's all they need, and they will just keep feeding off of that. So anytime you're trying to get rid of any behaviors, if it's just jumping up on people or excessive barking, anything you don't want, the last thing you want to do is touching them, talking to them while they're doing it. That you want to ignore them as much as possible. And some dogs have to have a correction to execute a behavior that you don't want. So we're gonna review, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to practice greeting people properly, because dogs have to be taught everything. They're only going to do what they think is best if we don't teach them otherwise. So what happens is when dogs get constant feedback for jumping, that's how they think they get it. Especially little dogs, I notice it's probably most common with little dogs, because they're so low to the ground, they're naturally going to be more apt to want to jump up on people because they feel like they have to reach up to grab people's attention, which isn't true. They can stay on the ground and get attention. We just need to kind of meet them in the middle. So what we're going to teach is, what you want to teach your dog is when they go up to say hi to somebody, they automatically sit, and they learn to sit and get attention. So we're going to teach them that they only get attention when all four paws are on the floor. And more importantly, teach them how to greet people properly, which is when they go up to see somebody, whether it's in your house or out in public, it's an automatic sit, and that's how they're going to start greeting people and learning how to get attention from people from now on. So what I like to use as a kind of a cue to pair with a correction for jumping on people is I say off. You can say down if you want, that's totally fine. Something just to keep in mind is if you're teaching your dog down still, I wouldn't use that same command for like getting down and off of furniture or off of people, just because that can be confusing. So if you do say down for like getting off of people, I would say lay for like a lay down command. But if you don't, and you're going to use down for like lay down, then I would say off. So off is kind of the most common command I use just because it's really clear and precise when I correct a dog for jumping up on people. So they associate that command with a correction and know to automatically, even if they start to jump up, the minute I say off, they immediately put themselves back down on the floor and like, oh, that's right, that's something I'm not supposed to do. So communication, again, is really key when it comes to all of this. So we got Darcy over here. She's my visitor for the day. Brinkley in general does pretty well, but again, puppies, they get so excited, they don't know how to control their excitement at first. So he's done pretty well through training, not jumping on people, but he is very pawsy and he still does get tempted. So we're going to practice with Brinkley here. So kind of how I like to practice, I like to start several feet away. The reason for that is because if I know my dog is tempted and do that. So I'm going to start about 4 steps away. And then I'm right off the bat going to get him, I'm going to get him to sit next to me. So that's already demonstrating to him that I have control of the situation. Then I'm going to give him point and say, okay, let's go say hello. Once we get about a step or 2 away from Darcy, I'm going to make him sit. And then as long as he stays seated while she's petting him and giving him a treat, stay seated, she can bend over, pet him, give him affection, give him a treat. If not, he loses that privilege. I'm going to pop him to correct him. He has a prong, he's trained to a prong collar, so I'm going to give a slight correction, off, and then we're going to step away and start over. So what he'll learn from that is he doesn't get attention from her until she stays seated and off of her. So again, I'm going to point and give him the cue to go say hello. Go say hello. Then I'm going to make him sit a couple steps off. Then I'm going to hand her a treat. And as long as he stays seated and off, she can pet him and give him a treat. Then you can bend over and pet him. Kind of get him a little excited. He's real good. Sit. Good. Good boy. And I would encourage you, if your dog, sometimes for dogs, just simply being able to stand up makes them think that they have the automatic right to kind of just be crazy and start to jump all over. So if that's the case, I would even just correct your dog if they get up from a sit. Because putting them in a sit is going to make them stay more under control. Good. So again, as long as he stays seated in front of her, I'll let her pet him, and then I'll say, okay, let's go. So if your dog gets overly excited when you first start working on this, I would only let that visitor pet him for a couple of seconds and say, okay, let's go, and then try it again. So we're going to step back again. I'm going to give him the okay to go say hello. Good. Okay, let's go say hello. Have him sit a couple feet off. Good. So even if they start to jump, you can take a treat. Good. Even if they start to jump with me tossing a treat over, I'm going to correct that as well. Good. Okay, now I'm going to step away. So another great way to practice is one of the main triggers for dogs to jump up all over people is they get super overexcited when they see a new person. So, if you have new visitors at your house that they don't see often, just keep in mind they're going to be more tempted to want to jump on them because it's somebody new that they never get to see. And out in public. Out in public is probably the best place to practice, like going to Lowe's because they love seeing dogs there, and they already have treats there for dogs. because you can knock out 10 people in a day. So just keep in mind, the more you practice this, the more of an automatic in your dog's mind they're going to get down when coming up to somebody, and it's going to start to just become an automatic way of greeting people, versus running up and jumping up all over them and going crazy. So it does take practice. So, it's not just practicing it at home, because with practicing with your family at home, yes, that's good. But, what is he going to do when he sees new people the next time you go out in public? It's going to be a whole new setup for him. He's going to be overstimulated, overly excited. So it's those people, new people, that you really want to practice with a lot. Kids is great practice. Why? Because kids are screaming, they're overly excited. It's a puppy! That is a huge trigger for them to jump up all over them. So because of that, I encourage you to, whether you do have kids or not, get somebody that can kind of scream and get really loud, kind of get them, overly excited, almost kind of set them up. I call it setting them up to fail to be successful. So you sometimes have to set them up in scenarios, especially with triggers of theirs that to be able to practice it, because dogs are so smart. In the moment of it, if they see you catch them start to do it, they'll just sprint and run off, and then you don't get to correct them and you don't get to practice it. So it's actually good to set them up in scenarios like that to be able to correct them if you have to let them know, hey, that's not acceptable. And it's just really overall the best way to practice. So we're going to do it again. Excuse me, I'm not going to give her anything to do. I'm just going to let her come up and kind of get him all excited and see what he does. So this is kind of just like a test run for him. So you can even kind of like jump up and down. Like, oh my God, it's a puppy! Hello! Good. As long as he stays off, I'm going to praise him and reward him. Good. Good boy. Good. Good job. Good. I'm going to run up. Then I'm going to run and kind of jump around. So there he started to jump on me. So running, kind of jogging is kind of like a trigger for him. So when he started to jump, I popped down, said off, and he immediately got off and sat down in front of me. So that's exactly what I wanted. It's good to kind of see, what your dog's boundaries are with that. So I'm going to have her get him all excited again.
Hi, good boy. Hello.
Good.
Oh, good boy.
Good boy.
Good
There
boy.
you go. Good. So see, he's already gotten pretty good about getting in the habit of going up to somebody and just kind of knowing he has to sit in front of them in order to get any attention. Good. Perfect. Okay, you did it. Okay, so now we're going to go get candy. So the trick that we're going to do today is high five. So it's easiest to do high five when your dog already has shakedown. I think most people in general already have taught their dog how to shake. If you don't and you don't know how to, please leave a comment. And if we get enough comments saying that your dogs don't know how to, or you don't know how to go over shake, I will go over it this week to help you out so that you guys are able to get going on high five. So today we're going to go over high five, which is kind of just an easy, fun one to do. Because too, once your dog knows high five, it's really easy to go to teach your dog to wave and say hi to people, which is kind of another fun one I was going to go over sometime. So in order to do that, they have to know how to high five first. So we're going to get candy and go over that with you guys. That's going to be our trick challenge for this week. So again, I really encourage you guys to post that throughout the week. We want to see everybody's progress. And then again, whoever teaches their dog high five first by Sunday, they will get a free 30-minute session with me. All right. Nice, come on. All right, so we got Candy Cane here again. And so if your dog does know high five, what you're gonna do is you're not gonna ask your dog to, or if your dog knows shake, sorry. And so you're gonna give your hand out like you would for asking them to shake, except you're not going to ask it. And then what you're gonna do is once they place their paw in your hand, all you're gonna do is flip it up, and then once you flipped your hand up and their paw's up against your hand as well, you're gonna say high five and reward. So I'm gonna have them sit. Sit. No. Sit. Good. So I'm gonna put my hand out like I would for a shake, but I'm not gonna say it. Good. And then I'll flip up. High five. Good boy. So basically all I'm doing is once his paw is in my hand, I'm just flipping it up. By general rule is kind of like up by their cheek or up by their ear. Every dog's facial structure is a little different, obviously, but leave it. Sit. Hi. Sit. Good. Thank you. I'm going to put my hand out. Good. Lift it up. High five. Good boy. High five. Good. Good boy. Perfect. High five. Good. Once they pick up on that, all you have to do is just put your hand up and say high five. Good. And they'll just stick their paw up and high five you. High five. Good. Good boy. High five. Yes. Good. High five. Good. Good boy. Good. Perfect. All right, so let's get on that, guys, and let's see your results and your progress throughout the week. Ask any questions you have about greeting people, or if your dog struggles with something in particular with that, feel free to ask questions and comments, and I will get back